and welcome you all on the seminar regarding CV writing. We at Case Business School strongly agree in bringing the academia and industry together. The core idea behind arranging the seminars and inviting the big names of the industry is to bridge the gap between both. As a sequel to our efforts, today we bring you another big name in the area of human resource, Mr. Bryce Barrows. Mr. Bryce Barrows has done his MBA in human resource from the University of Hartford. Mr. Bryce has worked for many leading organizations at the top positions. He has also worked for Nokia Siemens Networks as Human Resource Manager and Head Human Resource for Pakistan and Afghanistan. He has also worked as Human Resource for North Africa, Pakistan and Afghanistan for Motorola. Currently, Mr. Bryce is working as Head Consultant, Co-owner at the Recruitment Experts. We would like to thank you, sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule and being with us today to help us develop and build our very first image in the market through our resume. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Bryce Barrows.
I would like to thank, first of all, Fazal Saab. I can't see him anywhere. I would like to thank Noor Saab as well for having me here. First of all, thank you so much again for the introduction. As you can see, my name is Bryce Barrows. I am currently the head consultant at the Recruitment Experts, as you can see. I'm here today to basically let you know and guide you through a process which, honestly speaking, is an art. It's one of the most difficult things to do, if I consider it that way, from that perspective. People consider looking for a job as just making a CV and throwing it out there. It doesn't work that way. It is a very, very tedious process, if you want to call it that, okay? And today, basically, I'm here to actually show you how to go through this, please. All right, unemployment in Pakistan, should you really care? Next slide. All right, I don't know if all of you can see this. It's just a small little comic where someone has applied and they told him, okay, you know, sorry, we can't give you the job because you have a master's degree. And we actually have got a lot of PhDs who have applied already for this position. And it's actually a McDonald's, if you can see. And the irony of it is basically to give you an idea that the job market at this point in time, no matter where you are, is not an easy market to get into. Okay, please, next. The unemployment rate in Pakistan, according to the government of Pakistan, in 2011, at the end of it, was this. How many of you believe this figure? Raise your hand if you do. Good. I mean, honestly speaking, I think this is a joke. So if the government of Pakistan really believes that this is the figure, next slide, we should even start believing in the tooth fairy. It is, I mean, if you ask me personally, and I've been working with a lot of people in this industry, okay, that figure of 6%, okay, I had some friends joke about it, is ke zero missing hai, okay, and yes, I don't believe it's 60%. I truly believe that we're looking at double digits at the end of the day, whichever way you look at it. Next please. So jokes aside, as I said, this is our current plight. We are in a recession. We have huge levels of unemployment, okay, and there are shortage of jobs. However, next slide. However, I don't think that this is a doom and gloom situation. I mean, truly, yes, there is competition out there, but the whole idea of today's slideshow is to make sure that you stand out. from that competition, from that crowd, to make sure that you get a job tomorrow. Today, as I said, we're going to run through this whole process. We will look at, number one, the market. We will plan out which industry to target. We will plan out your course of action. We will plan out how to build your CV. We will plan out how you will apply, whether it's going to be online, through emails, etc. We will also look at how to sit through an interview, what sort of questions will come in an interview. And honestly speaking, I wish I had more time, because trust me, there is a lot of material at the end of the day. There's a lot that you should know. Next slide. So as I said initially, getting recruited is an art. And when you say that you're looking for a job, it's actually a job itself. So looking for a job is a job itself. But at the end of the day, planning is the key. And unfortunately, and this is the honest truth, a lot of us tend to plan our vacations more than we plan our lives. It's sad. We don't take out the time to plan out, okay, if I want to get into, let's suppose, Mobilink, how do I get there? Other people are getting in. Why am I not? And honestly speaking, yes, a lot of you will turn around and say, "Ke safarish hai. Us bande ne, he got into a job because his father knows someone." Honestly, I won't say and I won't deny the fact that safarish does not exist in Pakistan. It is there. But does that mean that you give up, you lie down and you just sit back? No. I have spoken with a lot of industry leaders. They say, Bryce, safarish hai. We won't deny that fact. Okay, safarish is probably 10 to 15%. Okay? So what about that 90 or 85%? That means to say that you cannot, use tactics to get in. Next slide. A lot of people, especially when you graduate, we tend to be very ambitious. We run out and we're like, oh, the best employer at the moment is Telenor. Let's go for Telenor. We will not consider, and there are different levels, by the way. You have A level, B level, C level jobs. Okay? We will not consider a C level position, meaning a C level job, a C level company. Sorry, a C level company. And honestly speaking, it's like a drive. If you're driving from Rawalpindi to Aptabad, you have to pass by smaller villages and smaller cities. You do not get from Rawalpindi to Aptabad directly. It's a journey. It's a journey down a road. And that's the same thing what your career is. You cannot expect to move from out of university into one of the top jobs. At the same time, I'm not saying कि नहीं हो सकता. It can happen. I've seen cases where it's happened. All right? But for the majority of us, you need to start somewhere. Okay? So always remember one thing. Your first job doesn't have to be the best. Secondly, to get your dream job, you need to go down a path, all right, of smaller jobs to get bigger ones, as I said before. And this is another thing. We tend to run after money. When you are starting your career, don't run after money. Run after experience. Run after knowledge. My first salary was 800 rupees. Why did I take that job? It was to gain knowledge. My next one increased, of course. But what I'm trying to say is that start slowly. The money will follow. Trust me, the money follows. Okay? I mean, again, my last position where I was working for Motorola. I was the head of HR for 7 countries. Okay, I was looking after Pakistan, Afghanistan, and North Africa, which had another 5 countries in North Africa. I was earning a very handsome amount. I won't tell the amount. Okay, but what I'm trying to say over here, where was 800 rupees and where was this position? Money will follow. Gain the experience. That's the most important thing. Next slide, please. All right, we're going to look at applying for jobs, for vacancies in different organizations. And the ironic part is this, is in Pakistan, we tend to use very old methods, or our perception of applying for a job is really outdated. And I'm going to show you this. For example, in the 80s and 90s, a CV was known as a biodata. A person would put his personal information, uska university ka degree jo bhi tha, and if he had work experience, that was it. And he would send it to an organization, and he would hope and pray that he would get a job. In those days, it worked. But in this day and age, would that work? That's the question. Next slide, please. We keep on hearing of new ways of applying online. One of them, of course, is job portals. The latest buzz is social media. What does that mean to us? What does that mean to you? Have things changed? Yes, they have. Our strategies changed? Yes, they have. How are you going to change with time? That's my job. That is why I'm here today. And hopefully we should learn a thing or two after today. Next page. All right. This is a CV that was sent to me, I think about 3-4 months back. And the gentleman was, I want a job. Could you click on it, please? Just press yes. Yeah. Okay. Why is it not opening? I think that is it. All right. Can everybody see this? All right. If you have a look at the CV, I've darkened out the person's name for personal reasons. I don't want you to start making fun of the poor guy. Bring it down a bit, please. This is his objective. Carry on bringing it down. Oops, I think you've gone all the way down, yeah. All right. Objective, उसने qualifications लिख दिया. All right. After that, he's written languages. After that, he's written personal information. And yeah, he just mentioned that he plays cricket. Would you hire this person? Be honest. Should I tell you something really scary? I come across young grad CVs, okay, and without a word of lie, 70% of those 70 to 71 or so percent looks like that. And you know what happens to CVs like this? They are just chucked out. HR doesn't even give it a second glance. Can we go back to the presentation? Next, please. So, what is the motive of a CV? Why do we build a CV? Can anybody tell me this? Come on, don't be shy. Today, there's going to be a lot of interaction with you, so I want questions, I want answers from all of you. Take it? I don't bite. Any idea why we build CVs? Yes? Very good. Usually when I ask this question, I always get the reply, to get a job. It is not there to get a job. You do not build a CV to get a job. A CV is built to get you an interview. Your interview is there to get you a job. Okay, next. All right. Just something that I wanted to actually point out. Okay, when you do build your CV, there are a few things you need to consider. When you build your CV, put yourself in the recruiter's shoes. Ask questions. So when you type out your CV, you print it out, you look at it, ask the question, would someone hire me? If the answer is no, you need to go back to the drawing board and improve the CV. Secondly, and this is advice, I mean, I'm sure all of your fathers know someone in HR. If you build a CV, send it off to someone, one of your father's friends or whatever, tell him, uncle, please have a look at the CV. Do you think there's some improvement needed? And so forth. The problem is that we don't ask. Instead, you have people sending CVs like that. Now, always, again, as I mentioned, keep that in mind. Ask yourself questions. Ask, if you were the manager, would you hire me? And then work on thereafter. Next. All right. What do companies look for in a CV? Do you know, and I've mentioned here, less than 10 seconds. The actual figure is 6 seconds. When someone picks up your CV, they take 6 seconds to make a decision. Is this a good CV or no? And let me point out one more thing. There are a lot of HR professionals who will turn around and say, and I quote, these are very old school people who think from that perspective, the first thing that should be right on the top will be your personal data, meaning your name, your NIC number, your father's name, falana. If HR picks up your CV and just takes a look for 6 seconds, are they really interested in knowing what your father's name is? Yes, if your father was Zardari, most probably they would be interested, but trust me, if not, no. So what do you put on that top portion of your CV? That is considered, like in advertising, even websites ke upar wo kehte hain, there's a sweet spot, okay, where eyes tend to go. The first quarter of your CV, okay, the quarter part of the CV, the initial top part, is your sweet spot. That is the thing that will be the hook, line and sinker for someone to hire you. If you have something captivating there, they will grab you and they will carry on reading your CV. Do you have an idea कि एक position के लिए at a very big organization? I remember I was recruiting, I was at Nokia at the time. We had opened a position for accounts manager. All right, now let me point out, accounts manager is very different from accountant. Accounts manager was a sales position, okay? Does anybody have an idea how many CVs came in for that position? Anybody want to throw a figure? Sorry? 10,000 is a bit too much, but we had close to 7, no, it was a good this thing, so please no one laugh at the guy. Yes, I have seen in some positions even 10,000 CVs going in. But उस position, उस specific position के लिए there was close to 7,000 CVs. There was 6,300 something. 6,000 CVs. Do you really think HR has the time to go through your whole CV? They don't. And I know a lot of people who tend to make 3-page CVs. Trust me, if you are a fresh grad, your CV should not be more than 1 page. 2 pages maximum. Chalo, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Magar, do not write a story. Okay? I will talk about the content that will go into your CV as well today. All right. I'm just seeing कि और कुछ है इस slide के ऊपर which I need to mention. All right, sorry. Always remember कि when you apply for a job, ठीक है, you need to show that you're perfect for that job. Your CV should show कि यार you are the person for that job. Out of those 7,000 or 10,000 people, you are the perfect person for that job. How do you do that? Okay, so as I said, it's a marketing campaign, and they say, so it's a marketing campaign, and you should, again, treat it as a marketing campaign. Next slide. All right. This is just to prove my point. There was an experiment which was done on 30 HR professionals. This was done in the US, by the way, by a company known as the Ladders. They wanted to see when HR picks up your CV, where does the eye movement go? These spots basically is the movement of the eyes. Okay? If you notice, these are two different CVs, by the way. Okay? If you notice, the first one is looking at the top part. Even the second one is looking at the top part, which I call the sweet spot. Okay? So that's like the most important area, and this proves it. Okay? The lower portion in this CV, by the way, does anybody have any idea why this place was so looked up at? Anybody? Because it's pretty far off, so you can't tell. Can you make a guess? Anybody? Okay, no answers. This is basically the education. So this is what the guy, meaning whatever he studied, etc. So they were actually trying to see does he meet the requirements, etc. So this area and the topmost area was the most viewed. Next, please. All right. There are many different types of CVs that we come across. These three, by the way, are the most popular, and I will talk about which is the chronological format. All right. This is again, it's not very clear, but I'll try and explain it step by step. You have the name, the person's phone number, his email address, and below that he's actually put a title. And this title is stating him as a highly skilled senior field service engineer with 14 years experience. Wouldn't HR want to know something like that? Or would they like to know, okay, what was your father's name? So this is just to prove that point. Secondly, he's come into what is known as a qualification summary. Okay, this is the second thing where I'm going to go against what a lot of people tend to say. Okay, the topmost thing after your name should be your career objective. It's extinct. Let me tell you why. Companies, and well, time has changed, okay? We have got companies which are facing major losses. They really don't want to take on someone and say, okay, yaar, chalo, you come on board. We will teach you everything. You don't worry. We just want to know, okay, will you be a loyal employee to us? They don't care. They want to know, okay, what can you do for them? They don't want to know, okay, what they can do for you. Aksar, most objectives that I see is like, I would like to join an esteemed organization where I will learn new things, and they really don't care what you're going to learn from them. They want to know, okay, what can you bring to the table? So, instead of a career objective, put in a qualification summary. If you see, the qualification summary is again in the sweet spot. what is a qualification summary? What do you know? Meaning, ho sakta hai ki you may be knowing, we have a lot of engineers sitting over here, so you may be knowing, let's say, WiMAX technology, something in WiMAX, let's say LT technology, theek hai? LTE, sorry. So, what it is maybe you could mention something like that. Maybe there's a new technology that's coming around, you have knowledge about that. Wouldn't companies want to know that information instead of what they can do for you? So you have the qualification summary. Next you have experience. Of course, in your case, you guys don't have any experience. If you do have an internship or something, it's good to mention it down in this, by the way. Sorry, carry on. All right. So after that, there is, okay. He mentions his core competencies. Now this is something that I see missing from a lot of CVs. What are core competencies? And I will come to this even further up ahead when we're going through the CVs in further, in more details. Okay, it is important to jot down core competencies, and what these core competencies are usually linked to the job description of the job itself. Okay, I will talk about job descriptions as we go ahead. Okay, and then after that, of course, we've got whatever hardware and software knowledge that the person has. Okay, then certifications and education last में. Okay, let's go on to. So far, does anybody have any questions with this format? No questions? I will be asking questions at the end. Okay, so you can ask then, you can also interrupt me in between, just put up your hand. Okay, I like to do it in between as well, because of the fact is by the time we finish we finish the presentation, at that point in time people actually forget ke, oh, I was supposed to ask a question. All right, so any questions up to now? Yep. I understand, yeah. See, as I said, when you build a CV, it's a job in itself, okay? You need to actually see, is there any way, koi na koi experience to gain kiya hoga, right? I remember many years ago, I was in Mobilink at the time, and we had an intern, and I won't take the person's name because this person is currently a very senior person. He's working at Deutsche Bank, and he was interning in finance. And I remember the CTO, sorry, the CFO was Hamid Farooq at the time, who's very renowned. He was the ex-CEO of Bharat Telecom. So Hamid, I don't know, he woke up from his sleep one day and he was like, yaar, we have an intern in finance, so I would like to interview him. ठीक है, उस बंदे का internship अभी खत्म होने वाला था. It was probably, I think, a week left or something. And the intern went over and he asked him the question ke, oh, you nearly completed with your internship, so what have you learned so far? Ab ye banda is this person who was the intern. He's such a simple man, you cannot imagine. He's like really simple, okay? He actually turned around and told Hamid Sahab, sir, I've learned how to make tea, I've learned how to make coffee for my boss, I've learned. Yes, there are unfortunately circumstances like this, okay? Long story short, yes, the whole finance department was brought in and asked him, what are you all doing with interns? But this is just to give you an idea, okay, yes, this mindset is here in Pakistan. Okay, unfortunately, an internship is considered to be filing ka kaam, photocopy ka kaam. But, and I say but, that is changing, okay? Things are changing, things are improving. In fact, a lot of the big companies ask, in fact, they build a full plan out for an intern, and they make sure that you fulfill that plan. By the end of your internship, they actually go through that whole plan and see कि वाकई have you met everything, all the requirements, etc. Have you done what was in the plan? And they even take a report from you. Okay, what have you learned? So you will have to write out a small little essay in which you state okay, what you've learned, etc. Okay. I will come to this point once we go more in depth, okay, because this is just the different formats of CVs, ठीक है? I will show you okay, how you can actually, बेशक आपके पास internship भी नहीं है, you don't have any experience. What do you put on your CV? We'll come to that as well, okay? Yeah, sorry, the next one is, so this one that we did was the chronological, I would want the functional, yeah. All right, functional CVs are basically for engineers, okay? Now why, and I mean I usually see it with engineers, okay? Now what do they mean by functional? If you look at it, it's following practically the same format except core competencies जो है उन्होंने ऊपर कर दिया. Okay, so a company would want to know, okay, what sort of hardware equipment do you know? They would want to know, okay, आपके software, do you know, let's say Cisco or whatever? They're not going to go down on the second or third page of your CV to see, कि यार इस बंदे को Cisco आता है या नहीं आता. They would want to know, okay, you know, on top, okay, all right, does this guy have this knowledge? They, in this format, what they do is that they club, if you move it down a bit, they club the professional experience together. So, हो सकता है कि आप, and I know this would not apply to you, but let's suppose आप Mobilink or Telenor में you have worked in both these companies, ठीक है? And what you've done is कि वही काम आपने किया दोनों जगह पे. So instead of writing there कि Mobilink, okay, एक separate title आपने रख दिया, फिर you know for Telenor you put a separate title, they usually club it together. Okay, and somewhere along the way they'll just write there that I've worked in so and so companies. Okay, can you take it out please? All right, again similar thing, hardware, software, education, bilkul aakhir mein. Now what do I suggest you should do in Pakistan? This format, yes, it works in the US, etc. ठीक है. Pakistan mein not so much. The next one, combination. This is, no, sorry, इसको close कर लो. There's another one actually. Go into CV for Telenor. All right, this is a CV. इसको enlarge हो सकता है? All right. This is a CV for a position. Okay, this was actually one of our clients. He was applying for a position. We have used a combination system for him where we have mentioned कि what are his strength areas, his qualification summary के अंदर we put all the strength areas. We've spoken about areas of expertise. Now what comes under these areas of expertise we will go in further later on, ठीक है? Then of course his professional career, okay? Something very good to add by the way is in achievements, meaning हर job के नीचे achievements area डाल लो. Look, there are a lot of people, for example, who are computer engineers, let's say. When HR picks up the CV to hire someone, they don't want to know कि यार, okay, इस बंदे के पास he's got similar experience or similar knowledge. This guy's got the same knowledge as well. How do you pick? They would want to see achievements. They would want to know कि आपने what exactly have you brought to the table in your previous organization. All right, so they would want to see कि, and by the way, companies love to see dollar figures or Pak rupees figures for that matter. They love to see कि आपने company को savings लेके आया, या if you brought profitability to the company, या maybe revenue increase किया आपने. So they would love to see things like this. So we usually put an achievements area under each responsibility, meaning we've written the guy's responsibilities plus achievement in his previous organization. Yes, I know a lot of you will be like, okay, but we don't have work experience. So in our case, what? Again, we will come to that. Carry on going down. So we got the work experience. Then we also have certain certifications. अगर उसके पास कोई certifications, कोई technical proficiencies है, his education, and last पे हमने personal information डाला. You don't even need to put the personal information. Look, Why do people put personal information? Companies really don't require your NIC initially. These are for those people who say, "Ke, oh, I'm applying because I'm applying for a job, not to get the interview." Their target is, ke, "Oh, I'll get the job." When they interview you, the next stage is that they will ask you for other information. You will fill out a form. जिसके अंदर आपके NIC, they'll ask you for your NIC, they'll ask you for your father's name and so forth. So really, you really don't even need a personal information. मगर इस case में we put it in because the guy is, by the way, he is got a UK based, he's got a British passport, and we were applying for a position also for Dubai, and a person with a UK passport, ठीक है, उनके visa requirements जो है, it's less than a Pakistani's, so chances of him getting recruited increases. Okay, so it was only for that reason. So you need to ask yourself that question, okay, when I put information on my CV, is it really required to be there? ठीक है? Any questions up to now? No? Okay, let's go to the slides. Yep, next. All right. 4 things that are irrelevant in your CV. I initially told you about the objectives. It's old school. We don't require it anymore. ठीक है? Pictures. A lot of people love to put their picture up on the CV. You do not need it. Unless, of course, you're going for a model job or something, modeling job or something, that's a different story altogether. Or either you think you're pretty, so the organization will hire you. So I would suggest lose the picture unless they require it. Agar requirement hai in the ad, it mentions ke please add a picture, put it then. Otherwise, there's no need for it. References, very famous. At the end of the CV, people write their references. As I said, your CV is there for you to get the interview, not the job. Jab aapka interview ho gaya and they are happy, they will ask you for references. Okay, so technically you are just wasting space on that paper of yours, on your CV, by adding references over there. And I've seen a lot of people write 2 references and they write them one under each other, so ek pura page jo hai is gone there. Okay, and personal data, it's up to you if you really want to put it there. As I mentioned before, no one really wants to know who your father or what your NIC number is. Any questions? Yes. I hope I can hear till that. Gigi, please. Yeah, please answer. You don't need to put the references in. At the moment जो है जब CV इसका requirement नहीं है, you don't need to put your references. अगर references का ज़रूरत है फिर they will ask you for it. Meaning ad के अंदर ही mentioned होगा कि kindly give your references. This is very famous, especially for the government organizations. They will ask you for your testimonials. What is testimonials? Technically your degree और वो सब कुछ जो है, it has to be attested and given. मगर private organizations के लिए they will never ask you for it. They will never ask you for references. They will never ask you for any of this until you are being considered for the position. फिर आपका references होता है, आपका reference check होता है. Okay, so then your previous organization, या अगर आप student है, the dean is usually called, या it depends again from company to company how they do their reference check. Okay, any more questions? Yes. I'm sorry, I can't hear. Can someone? Can you speak up a bit, please? इनको wireless mic दे दो, please. Just 1 second, वो mic आपको दे रहे हैं. I'm sorry, I can't hear that far. I'm turning old.
If we move our personal data from our CV, how they're going to contact us for an interview?
Okay, when I talk about personal data, I'm not talking about your name. I'm not talking about your home address. I'm not talking about your telephone number. When I talk about personal data, I'm talking about NIC number. I'm talking about father's name. I'm talking about a lot of people like to write their marital status. Unless, of course, you want to get a date with the HR person, then you can write your marital status as single. तो again वही बात है relevancy. Always remember one thing, it all depends on relevancy. If you saw the initial CV and what I can do is I can share this CV, this slideshow with either Noor Saab or whoever, and you can ask them as well. The top portion had your name, it had your address, it had your phone number, and it has your email address, which is basically the 4 most important things that are required. इसके अलावा, I don't think they require anything else. Any more questions before I carry on? No? Okay, I guess you will ask questions up ahead. Next, please. 5 things you should always be in your CV. Qualification summary, which I mentioned initially, forget about your objectives, but instead put a qualification summary. Your area of expertise box, your core competencies, your achievements for every job that you've had, standard fonts. Trust me, I've seen some very weird fonts being used in my time. Okay? Where you can not understand what the person is writing. And one more thing that I want to add here. When you apply online on some portals, okay, which accept your CV, okay, meaning आप CV जो है upload कर सकते हैं on their website. Please keep in mind, it should not be a PDF, okay, because there is, and I will be coming to that once we go into the new age ways of applying, which includes applying online. I will also mention over there that there is a system that technically is running in the background that looks for certain keywords, etc. Okay? If your CV is a PDF, it will not pick up this data. Number 2, you really don't know. Okay, let me, again, this is mostly for the technical people. If you have built your CV with a certain format and you send it to someone or unke paas jo hai on their system, there is no, meaning they don't have the same font. What happens? Does anybody have an idea? Either number 1, it'll pick the next closest font, or there'll be a lot of glitch. It'll move everything out of place. So on the safe side, always use to it. This is another thing, and this is something very important for all of you to note and to remember. हर position के लिए you need to change your CV. One CV does not apply for every position. Now when I say you need to change your CV, I mean that according to relevancy, your CV should be changed. We're still having issues, okay. So always keep in mind, for example, I'm just giving the example here. Are you an engineering? Okay. Let's suppose you've applied for fiber optics ka position hai at, engineering. What are you doing in your engineering? You're doing electrical engineering. Okay, so let's go with one of the telecoms. Let's suppose aapne Varid pe, there's a position for optical fiber ka associate engineer, and they're looking for someone who's fresh. You would put in things related to optical engineering, according to optics, okay? So, वही बात है relevancy. Now let's suppose there is another position of site engineering. Site engineering और optics में बहुत फर्क है. Therefore, you cannot use your same CV, because what you made for this does not apply there. So always keep this in mind, relevancy, every time you make a CV, think, is it relevant? When your CV is completed, think, would this CV get me the job, this job? Agar optics ka job hai, would it actually get me the optics job? Does it actually show that mere paas knowledge hai optics ka? Right? So always keep that in mind. Any more questions while we wait for the, oh, okay, it's on. All right. PAR. Think PAR. This is really, really, really important. When you are writing out your CV and when you mention things at the bottom like just say responsibility hai and so forth, always think from the following way, which is P, problem, A, action, R, results. Now let me come to this. Let's suppose you did an internship, and even the gentleman is missing over there. I think he's got in the back over there. He had asked me this question about being an intern. Even for an internship position, maybe, and this may be, आपने filing जो है उनको you improve their filing system. Okay. Now, when I talk about filing system, it could be filing of, let's say, it's in one of the telecoms, so it's filing of technical data. What was the problem? The problem, there was no filing system. What was the action? You took the action, you completed, let's say, 20,000 files were completed, put in proper order, and placed in. Okay, so you took the action. What was the result? You saved the company $1 million of having to hire someone from outside. Now, tell me something. Doesn't that sound better than someone turning around and saying, okay, I did an internship at Mobilink? Or if you wrote something like this, okay, where you saw a problem, you took the action, and you got the results. Which one would they pick? They would obviously pick up that one. Because aapne jo hai, in their eyes, you've done something amazing. Aapne company ko, you have managed to save the company money. Alright? So, whenever you write anything, always ask yourself the power. Okay? So, that's problem and the actions that you've taken and your results. Any questions so far? None? Alright, can we go up ahead? Alright. Now, this is especially for you, students. Okay, how do you target a job? Always look for something relevant. Meaning, you should always pick a job that you're aware of. I remember there was a gentleman who, when I was working in Nokia, there was this one guy who every time a position was open, he applied for it. And I remember there was a time when we were hiring an engineer, we were hiring a finance guy, and we were hiring someone for HR, by the way. And he applied for all three. Please, and this is my, my humble request. Okay, never ever show that you're desperate for a job. You should show that you have direction. You should show that you, and this is very famous, especially I remember when I was also going into the workforce. A lot of people tend to do this. They will write a cover letter. Cover letter ke upar unhone likha hai कि I would like to work for your esteemed organization in any open position. Never do that. Never ever ever do that. You know what that shows? That shows that you have no idea what you want in life. That shows that you have no direction. Pick areas that you want, 4-5 areas that you should be targeting, and target those. Don't target each and every job that you have, that you see out there. Okay? So look for that. Apply only if you feel that you meet the requirements. Don't waste your time otherwise. Alright? Now, do not apply for any and every job vacancies you do. And the last that I put over there is network. Now when I say network, and I was having a discussion a while back with Fazal Saab, and we were discussing one thing. Okay, in Pakistan we've got this mentality of a very, again, it's a very dirty word, safarish. There's a difference between networking and a difference between safarish. Now if someone, let's suppose, and when I say network, especially for engineers and for the BBA students, always remember one thing, try to get out there, try to join forums, try to see join forums where you know okay, the big leading companies are there. Mingle with the people, mingle with the heads, let them know, okay, and when I say mingling, I don't mean okay, you just go over there, hello sir, how are you? No, ask questions, ask if you can, if they have some time and you would like to know okay, how would it be to work in a big company in your position. You'll be surprised okay, how many senior people are willing to help students. I mean, you'll be surprised. The reason being is okay, when you look at people, they have also been in the same position as you have been, and it's important that they and trust me, they know that you're going through problems and they'll be willing to help you. Okay? And I will talk about networking also on LinkedIn up ahead. Okay? Next. Job descriptions are the key. And if there is anything that is most important, it is this. When you apply for a position, the first thing you need to do is find out कि job description क्या है. Read through it, see if you fit the bill, if you fit the position. It doesn't matter if there's some things you don't fit, that's okay. But at least you should have some knowledge of what it is. An exercise for you to do. When you think you're okay for this position, take a copy of it. Meaning हो सकता है कि maybe this is on the web. Take that down, put it in Excel in one of the columns. Okay? तो एक side पे you have got your job description. दूसरी side पे what I would want you to do is talk about transferable skills. What is transferable skills? I will have to again you'll have to move out of this क्योंकि वो link नहीं है. Transferable skills. All right. This is an example of transferable skills, and we tend to do this with a lot of our clients. Basically what we do, left side pay, again it's got all the the job description from the position, and then we see agar koi relevancy hai with what they are asking for. This is a very important exercise because you are going to take some of this data and put it into your CV. When HR picks up a CV, the first thing they do is that they look कि ये बंदा जो है, does he meet the requirements of this job? So what is he comparing it with? He's comparing it with the job description. The same job description that you put in the left column. On the right hand side, you will write, for example, let's suppose, I'm just again giving it an example, they are asking for a WiMAX engineer, and one of the requirements is whatever, WiMAX knowledge. You are a student, ठीक है, you may don't have the experience, but you may have studied about it. So right hand side पे, you will write, I studied about WiMAX processes and whatever, उसमें. And we will be putting this into your CV, by the way. Because they want to know okay fine, you may not have the experience मगर आपके पास knowledge है. As compared to that first CV that we saw initially, that guy just wrote यार I'm doing my whatever. Okay, he's not saying what knowledge he has. So it's important that you put across the knowledge that you have. Meaning you tell them हाँ ये position है, ठीक है, I have the knowledge for this position. Okay. So in the first, I'll just give one example over here. On the first side, they say serve as a primary training documentation content developer for our internal and external customer needs at both a business and technical level. By the way, this was a position for, I think it was a computer. It was for computer grad. It was for a computer grad, I think. So उसने लिखा है इस side पे कि wrote, developed and implemented over 100 dynamic high impact training courses. So it was a training course for something. So what he's showed is that yes, मेरे पास relevancy है, and he put that down there. So it's important to do this, and for each point, you will carry on putting down what knowledge you have. Any questions up to now? This is really important. Trust me, CVs, when you build a CV with this, it gets you jobs. Because it shows कि आपके पास knowledge है उस position के लिए. Alright? Does anybody have an issue? Do you all understand how we actually take this content and then put it to the CV? Yeah, no idea. No idea? Alright. Ask. The whole idea is to ask this question. All you need to do, if you don't have experience, okay, you will write, for example, okay, you're doing, I'm giving the example here, you're doing your BE electrical engineering, okay, and uske niche, what areas of expertise you've studied under, you will then pick up these things which are on the right side. Do you understand? So what you've done is when HR picks up your CV, they will see ke, all right, fine, is bande, okay, he's a new grad, he's a fresh grad, but iske paas ye knowledge to hai. He knows it. And then you can also write under, and I think the lady over here had mentioned, ke project ke andar bhi mention karo, ke, okay, you worked on so and so project. What you've done, you've built relevancy. Got it? Anybody? Questions so far? This is how you build your CV. You need to pick up the most relevant information. I cannot say this enough. Most relevant information for the job at hand. That is what will get you the interview. And during the interview, they will ask you all sorts of questions related to this. So it's always good to keep this at hand with you. Because your questions that will come according to this. Your questions will be revolving around this job description. कि आपके पास फलाना knowledge है, yes, I have this knowledge. Have you ever worked on so and so thing? Yes, I may have not worked on it, but I have the knowledge of it, and this is what I can do. Okay, I have done so and so project. Yeah, I have done so and so internship which has covered this. Got it? All right, can we go back? Yeah, slides. All right, so we saw transferable skills. Now when you're applying for a job, always remember a few things. Always do your homework. And the reason why I'm saying this, these are things that whenever you apply for a position, let's say it's Mobilink, it's good to have this information. Keep on your computer a folder which positions you have applied for. You will be amazed at times that you have applied for a position and 6 mahine ke baad you get a call saying you have applied for this position and you're totally dumbfounded ke, oh, did I even apply for this position? Mujhe yaad bhi nahi hai. Okay? Have it on your folder that you have applied for so and so positions. Each folder ke andar, pick up the data for each company. You should know the history of that company, you should know the ways of working, you should know the values. I'll tell you why. When HR interviews you, and when I come to the interviewing section, they will actually ask you questions around these things. Okay? How many of you so far have gone for a job interview? Anybody? All right. Have you ever been asked questions about the history of the company, or koi knowledge of the company? Do you know anything about the company? Have you ever been asked this question? जी वो माइक ऑफ है हाँ oh it's okay I think it's वो पावर की वजह से
जिस कंपनी के लिए इंटरव्यू देने के लिए गया था तो उन्होंने पूछा था कि मतलब जिस वो प्रोसेस बेस्ड इंडस्ट्री है तो उसके अंदर मतलब ये डेयरी प्रोडक्ट वगैरह मतलब प्रोडक्शन का काम करते हैं तो उन्होंने पूछा था कि इससे रिलेटेड आपको नॉलेज वगैरह है और जिस जो मतलब जो चीज़ें उनको रिक्वायरमेंट थी उसी से रिलेटेड उन्होंने बातें भी की थी और अपनी मतलब उसकी जो उनकी वेबसाइट के ऊपर जो जो चीज़ें उन्होंने मेंशन की थी कि जो प्रोडक्ट्स उसके साथ वो डील करते हैं वो सारी मैं पहले ही पढ़ के गया था और फिर
वेरी गुड that's very good actually you'll be amazed not many people prepare for interviews And this is really important. The people who actually prepare, and this is a stats which was actually done, people who do prepare for interviews, their chances increase by a good 40% or so of getting the job. So prepare for the interview. And why I say कि ये beginning से ही ये रख लो, because it is important that you have this information at hand. And again, always ask yourself the question, is this job really for me? Is this the organization I want to work for? I know a lot of people who join certain organizations, and ultimately they are like, why am I even over here? 2 या 3 साल के बाद. Okay, next. All right, how to apply. So we've gone through the CVs. Okay, you have a general idea of how the CVs are made, and after this, if you have questions, we can even go further in detail. So don't hesitate. This is what I'm going to talk about is different procedures of applying. Okay, when you apply via email, what should you do? All right, when you apply online for a position, what should you do? Now, when you apply for an email, make sure that you have a cover letter in place. Attach a cover letter. Some of that mentioned in the email itself. Why I say that? It is important that you point out the core competencies that you know. Taaki when HR opens that, instead of them having to, in some cases they won't even open out the CV if they find that you're not relevant. So if you mention over there that aapke paas core competencies hai, and you know you have the knowledge and you would be a perfect fit, and wahi baat hai is you will only know if you have those competencies if you went through the job description, right? So whatever they are asking for, if you can mention some of those things there, okay, I know, let's say WiMAX technology, you have WiMAX technology idea of that. You have whatever it is, whatever are the competencies they're looking for, you just have to add those in over there in the email portion itself. Don't write a full story, but just just touch on what knowledge you have, so that they have an idea why you're even applying for that position. Also mention that you are a hard worker, that you are willing, you're a very quick learner. Aksar this is your key to getting a job as a fresh grad. And wahi baat hai ke we are living in a time when the recruiting manager looks, okay, should I pick up someone who has experience already? Yes, should I pick up someone who's fresh? And you'll be surprised that kitna HR actually does fight for picking up fresh people. But wahi baat hai is they want fresh people because they want to mold them. And what I had mentioned earlier, run after not money, but run after knowledge positions. Therefore, you would probably have to work late hours, you would probably have to work harder than it would otherwise be required. Do it. Trust me, do it. I for one know a number of people who joined up as fresh grads, worked really hard, used to work till very late hours, and today those guys are sitting in very senior positions. Okay? So initially, yes, you have to go through, let's say, tough times, if you want to call it that. Okay? Next. All right, how to apply online. Now this is something that a lot of you will probably not know. Online portals, a lot of people say, we apply, magar koi response hi nahi aata. Okay, we apply for position, there's never a call back. We'll apply on Rosie, we apply on Brightspire, we apply on Mustaqbil, we apply on Berozgar, we apply on wherever. We never get a response back. Now, there is a trick behind applying online. They pick up relevancy. Wahi baat hai, the job description. If you build your CV to a certain extent which is related to that, the computer automatically puts your CV at a higher ranking. The chances of you getting a call for an interview increases. There are also certain protocols that they put in place, which is keywords. They look for certain keywords, etc., which is again it becomes extremely scientific again. They look at keyword density and stuff like that. But the point is, this is maybe you don't know about that stuff, but at least agar aapke CV relevant hai, your chances of getting a call for an interview increases. So these companies like Rosie, etc., have got a software known as an applicant tracking system. Okay, so वही बात है, it works exactly like Google. It picks up relevant sites and it brings it up. So in this case, it picks up relevant CVs and brings it up. Okay. And वही बात है इसके, the question at the end of the day is, will that catch up here in Pakistan? Yes and no. I say yes on certain topics, okay, yes, it will eventually, okay, but at this point in time, it's being used to a certain extent. And this is important, please remember, make sure that you are out there. When I was talking earlier as well, I mentioned, okay, network. LinkedIn is a tool for networking. My advice before you go out into the market, if you have a target, let's suppose you want to work for, I don't know, let's say you want to work for P&G, let's say it's one of the BBA students wants to work for Procter & Gamble. Let's say you want to work in P&G in the marketing department. Okay, let's not go marketing, let's say in HR, okay? Or maybe admin, let's pick admin. So you want to work for admin, what would you do? From now, I would advise you, Procter & Gamble के admin department के जितने भी लोग हैं, friend them. Go online, friend them, talk to them. And when I say talk, I don't mean ke yaar, oh, hi buddy, how are you? Again, ask questions, talk to them, ask them, you know, you're working for P&G, it's such an amazing company. What is the work like over there? Get interested. Show them you're interested. Tell them things, oh, Bagar, if I worked there, I would do things like this. Why are you doing this? You're building credibility. My advice to each and every one of you, build credibility. It's not, the game in Pakistan is not all about just a CV. It's about a whole bunch of things. Okay? So build credibility, talk to the people. There's something known as answers. There are even groups in LinkedIn. Go there, become active. Especially for engineers. Talk about new technology there. Talk about whatever. You'll be amazed how many recruiters are there on LinkedIn. They are looking ki kaun se bande active hai. And then you get called. And I know a lot of people have been called this way. And when I say Pakistan mein, will it be effective? I know 2 people who have been recruited by Mobilink in their marketing department that were called because they were seen through their LinkedIn profiles. It is important that you get out there. It's not only there. Forums ke upar, meaning I'm talking about forums in Islamabad itself. Go out there, make a name for yourself. Make a name for yourself that if we want so-and-so engineer, okay, this guy knows the stuff, he is like up to date, he reads books, he knows his subject. Specialize, that is important. You need to specialize, become, specialize in whatever area you're looking at. If I say HR, for example, if you want to become a recruiter, specialize as a recruiter. Read books about it. Similar is the case with the engineering side. Take care. Next. All right. Up to here so far, any questions? None? All right. We will, we just have a little bit more to go through. This is about the interview. So we've gone through preparing for, looking for your job, how to be. You need to be professional. Please, you have no idea how important it is. I actually had a guy come into an interview once. He was wearing jeans. He was wearing a torn t-shirt, by the way. And it was also tight, by the way, and he was trying to show his muscles, etc. I don't know if he was trying to impress me or make me feel bad about myself. And the first thing that went through my head is, where does this guy think he's come to? Seriously, this was the first thing that went through my head. Is this guy serious? It is so important that you make sure you dress up well, get yourself prepared, have a bath, get your hair done well. And I don't mean any new hairstyle with, you know, the gel type, this thing with pokey hair and stuff like that. Please comb your hair properly. No earrings, no tattoos. All right, these are things. No, seriously, I've had people walk in with earrings. Men, no, not women. I'm talking about men. All right. वही बात है इसके. We live in a very conservative country, where a person who's sitting and interviewing you is judging you from the minute you step into that room. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about how to step into that room. I'm going to guide you through the whole process of how you would come in for an interview. Next. These are, again, guys, you all are well-educated people, all right? And this is going for both the women and for men. This is a mixed thing for both. Make sure you wear, for males, wear a solid suit color, which should be black or gray. Women, of course, wear a decent shalwar kameez suit, whatever, or if you're wearing pant shirt, that's up to you. Conservative shoes, no joggers, no jeans. Limited jewelry, especially for the women. Please don't go in with something that will blind the guy, okay? No bangles. I remember I was interviewing a girl who carried on moving her hands and it would carry on ching, 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 and I was like, totally got me off guard, okay? In the sense that I was trying to pay attention to the interview, but every time her hands moved, I would look at her hand. So, again, limited jewelry. Be neat, professional. A lot of people ask, especially men who keep beards, you know, what should I do about my beard? Make it look a bit decent. You don't have to go in unruly. Okay? Comb your beard, make it look decent. Neat, trim nails, and of course, if you're carrying a case or something, take that along with you. Next. What not to bring to an interview? Chewing gum. Very famous. You're actually going through an interview and someone's actually chewing a gum over there. And half the stuff that he's talking about, you don't understand what he's talking about. You need to be clear and crisp. Chewing gum is not going to help you. Number 2, cell phones, turn it off, turn it on silent. Please don't ever answer a phone call during an interview, no matter what. iPods, no cigarettes, no this thing, just throw those things out. Again, wohi baat about piercings. Make sure okay, if you have excessive rings, I've seen some guys who have rings on every finger. Again, distracting. You don't need something that distracts the employer. He wants to know things about you. Don't distract him. Next. All right, the day before your interview, you have the jitters. You are on pins and needles. You don't know what to do. This is something that you should be doing. Go through the data that I told you to collect initially. The history, the ways of the company, the values of the company. And why it's so important. When there are 2 interviews which are being taken place. Meaning you will be interviewed from an HR person, you will be interviewed from a technical person, okay? Who will probably be your manager, by the way. The technical interview will of course touch on all the technical side of what you know, etc. The HR interview is specifically there to see if you can fit in the organization. Alright? If you are not a fit for the organization, beshak, you have the knowledge, they will not keep you. It is important that you fit in the organization. That's why it's important that you know about the values of the company. For example, agar ek value hai of the company, I'm just giving the example, is open communication. A question will revolve around that. A question may come, okay, if you saw a friend of yours ill-treating another, a colleague of yours ill-treating another colleague, what would you do? They're testing you, okay, how open would you be? Would you confront him? Would you take it to your line manager? What would you do? Let's say customer satisfaction is another value of the company. They will ask you, okay, oh, there's a breakdown, या ये कि customer ने आपको 11 बजे जो है रात को call किया. What would you do? They want to know, okay, how would you manage yourself under such scenarios? This is your HR side of the questions. So it is very important that you prepare yourself. So if you know the values of the company, you can actually build the questions ki kis tarah ke questions aayega. And you will know that they are going to trick you during that interview. Okay, they will want to see, like for example, agar one of the values is an equal opportunity organization. They will ask you something like, oh, you have a female, if you are a male of course who's in the interview, they will say that you have a female colleague and ye ke, they've given an assignment to her, and technically that assignment should have been given to you. What is your point of view of it? They're testing you to see ke, yaar, do you have an open mind to equal opportunity? Okay, so these are important things to remember. So always remember, history of the company, it always shows it's a good thing to know something about the company that you're going into. It impresses the interviewer. Number two, the ways of working. How does the company work? Again, you got that knowledge. And the values technically is there to help you go through your HR part of the interview. After that, go online. You'll be surprised how many resources are there for online, interview questions. You will get interview questions by the dozen. The most famous ones like, where do you see yourself for 5 years from now, and so forth. Okay? I'm not going to go into those because again, it's pretty lengthy. Prepare for good responses. Meaning, agar aapke paas ek list hai of questions, prepare the responses, study it, get ready for it. When you're called tomorrow for the interview and that question comes, and trust me, at least 60 to 70% of those questions will come. Agar aap unko bhi ace karen, I think you have good chances of getting the job. All right. Be prepared for technical and HR questions, as I said previously. Next. Interview day, first impressions count. Please be early for your interview. Aksar tar in Pakistan, we've got this attitude ke, oh, no problem. I'll just make it to so place. If you're running late, which you should not be doing, make sure you call, make sure you SMS, whatever is the case, inform. Ho sakta hai ke maybe there's some VIP movement and you've gotten stuck. Ho jata hai. Magar decency, and it shows that you have respect, is if you SMS or you call the person who called you for the interview. Unko keh de ke I will be running a little late, I'm sorry, but ye ke whatever ABC is going on at the moment, I cannot make it on time. But always try to be there on time. When you are about to enter in for your interview, ask permission to get into the room. Don't just walk in and sit down. Okay, ask, sir, can I come in? Ma'am, can I come in? Number two, and this is again, of course, yeah, you greet the interviewer. This is again a very, and I'm not going to go into it. A lot of people have got different points of view. Okay, you should sit from your left side or you should sit from your right side. I think if you get it right by just first waiting over there and asking to be seated, I think it's good enough. A lot of people will just come down and plop themselves in the seat. Don't. You just stand, wait until you're asked to sit. All right? Once you're asked to sit, this just shows respect. Once you're asked to sit, sit down and don't slouch. A lot of people will slouch, sit as if they're sitting and watching TV or something. But just put your feet down, sit properly, comfortably, back straight, and wait for the questions. Again, smile. You need to show that you're confident. I have gone through, I don't know how many interviews I've conducted, I've lost track. But there's one thing in common, especially on a panel interview. The first thing that happens when a person walks out from the interview, we actually judge them on their character, the way they handle manage themselves through the interview. Show that you're confident. Next slide, please. Show that you're confident. Don't walk in there. And aksar, I've seen people actually walk in. Yes, sir. It's, for crying out loud, you're holding the responsibility, you're holding the respect, the responsibility of the institute that you've come out from. If you want to show, I mean, at the end of the day, you're walking out and you know, the HR person is like, oh yeah, this guy's come from Case University, they're all like this. Just, I mean, seriously, you need to show confidence. You should be brimming with confidence. Don't be overconfident. That's a difference. ठीक है? कुछ लोग जो है वो they become too smug actually just because of the fact that they think that's the thing to do. You should be overconfident, but you should be confident. You should be. I mean, confidence is the thing that will actually get you through that interview. And Aksar, we always, the first thing that we say before we even get into anything on the panel, we'll be like, you know, उस बंदे में spark है यार. Why? He may not know anything, but he was just because of his attitude, we considered कि बंदा go-getter है. He will be able to fit into our organization because we need people like that. So automatically he's become a fit. All right. So as I said, be confident, be positive, don't be too overconfident. Don't make funny faces, gestures, etc. Some people have got it as a habit, you know, they'll make a face or something or the other. No faces, please. Don't argue with the interview. I've actually had cases like this where, you know, the guy is like, nahi sir, magar ye is tarah hota hai, this tarah hota hai, and you know, okay fine, put your thing across, but ye ke don't go hyper. All right. Be polite, answer properly. Your voice should be clear and crisp. Meaning you should be talking in such a way that anybody can hear you, meaning you are clear. If you don't understand what the interviewer is saying, say sorry or say something like, could you kindly repeat yourself, you're not very audible or whatever. Have presence of mind, meaning kuch log jo hai, they get so worried. If there's a question thrown at them, they're like, sir, magar ye is tarah hota hai. Okay? Take your time. That shows confidence. That shows that you're thinking. Don't answer straight away. There's nothing, they don't have a gun to your head saying, answer straight away. Make sure that you know the answer, that you're ready to answer the right thing. Then open your mouth. Be firm about your opinion. Again, there's a difference between being firm with your opinion and a difference with fighting with the interviewer. Okay? So yes, be firm. Make sure that, again, at the end of the day, they are testing you. Sometimes they may even say something like, oh, the sun rises in the west. Okay? Which is technically wrong. All right? So, and they'll keep on saying, no, but according to us, we've read it. But you stick to your opinion. You are like, no, sir, I'm 100% sure that it rises in the east. But now there's a difference. You're not arguing with him. You're just putting your place forward, saying that, no, sir, this is my final thing, and this is what it is. It rises in the east. Because there's always, you know, trick questions that are there. All right. Next. During the interview, again, as I said, speak clearly and concisely. Ask relevant questions. It's very good to ask whoever's interviewing you about the position, about the company. Even show them that you know something about it. If he says something, say, oh, sir, yeah, I did read about this, and ye bhi falana values hai, whatever. Okay? It just shows you that you're prepared, that you know about the company and that you know what is going on there. Next. After the interview is over, thank them, shake their hands, and exit. There's something that is usually done abroad, which is not done here in Pakistan. And again, it's a debatable thing. Okay, and a lot of people debate this, okay, especially HR professionals. Okay, should we do it? Does it give the wrong impression? One thing that is done abroad is usually when you come home, you send a thank you note. Okay, to the employer, okay, thank you for selecting me for the interview and so forth, and hope to hear back from you soon. Now this is debated here in Pakistan, okay, should we do it? Does it look like we are trying to butter them up? So we don't do it. But I'm just giving this to you as information, okay, this thing does exist, and some people do it. I know some people who have done it even in the organizations that we have come across. Yep, next. All right, we're nearly ending. What type of interviews are there? There will be a screening interview, Usually this is done over by either by phone. Sometimes they'll call you in. They'll tell you just let's come across and they'll just screen you. You'll have phone interviews, which is a full interview, which is done usually. This is usually done when the recruiter is abroad. Yeah, it's probably in Karachi and they don't want you to come all the way to Karachi for an interview. So they'll take the initial interview by phone. So it can last for about an hour, 2 hours, but whatever, it's done via phone. And then you have on-site and off-site interviews. On-site interviews means you go to the employer's office and you give your interview. Off-site are usually kept for very senior staff, where they will interview you because you may be working for the competitor. So you cannot be seen going to the competitor's office, so they will interview you outside the office. So maybe in some hotel, maybe in some restaurant. Next, methods of interviews, meaning the types of interviews that you will, the types of questions you can say that will be asked. Traditional interview means traditional questions will be asked, stuff like where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What is your greatest achievement? What would you say? What are the positive things about you? What are the negative things about you? Questions like these, okay, and these are usually found online, aram se, and this is usually the questions that tend to come. Then you have behavioral, emotional, or storytelling questions. These are scenario-based questions. For example, they will ask, while you were studying in so-and-so university, did you ever study so-and-so topic? So they will take you to a time when, okay, and then you will continue with the answer thereafter, okay? And then case methods and case-based methods are technically methods which are psychometric. They will ask you questions, and usually these are tests actually. They will be looking at analysis and about you, how you answer these questions and so forth. Next. All right. Can you get your dream job after graduating? We finished with the interviewing part. This is a question that I decided to put as my last question. A lot of people tend to say कि नहीं हो सकता. I believe you can, but in some cases if it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean to say that you cannot take the next best option. As I gave the example of moving from one city to another, going for a job, you don't necessarily have to find your perfect job initially. Go through smaller ones and get there step by step. Okay, I think that's about it. Next. Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions? Any questions? Yes. Okay, all right, good question. Usually this question is asked because, again, it will depend from person to person. Now, obviously, if you're a fresh grad, you don't have much to say, so you will start off technically from your schooling. They are actually interested in seeing where have you studied from, what extracurricular activities you have behind you that can be used in the job. So, for example, let's say this position that you're applying for requires leadership skills. So it's good to then point out stuff like, for example, you may have been in charge. Maybe you were in charge of there was some function that was going to take place in the university, and you were in charge of all the students, the student body. So it shows that you were practicing leadership skills. So वही बात है कि you need to take it from a time where it makes sense for the relevancy of the job. वही बात है कि every time I keep on talking about relevancy, whenever you are asked a question, it is always from a relevancy point of view that they're asking you that question. I hope I answered the question according to what you were. Okay. Any more? Come on, guys. I didn't come all this way just for this. Yes, ma'am. Where do you get the transferable skills? Where do you put them? All right. Since you are a fresh grad, okay. Now, depending on the position. Again, वही बात है कि I couldn't sit through a whole CV making process, and maybe this is something we could, again, I could probably talk with the people of the university and see if we can have something like that, where we just take a few students and try to help them, show them how each one is put through, I mean, how you make the CV accordingly. But in a nutshell, what I can tell you is, depending on the job, right, the job description that you saw, what you do, let's suppose, I'm just giving the example, are you doing your, what are you doing, sorry? You're doing your BBA, okay. Now let's say it's an admin position, okay, that you're interested in taking, okay? And they are looking for a specific skill, let's say interpersonal skills. You will need to pick up, when you were making your job description, the transferable skills, you mentioned whatever it was, okay? So maybe you did something in university that was related to interpersonal skills. So you can move this, even under your education background, you can mention ke so and so you did that was related to interpersonal skills. Maybe आपने कोई project किया था in which you had to interact with someone or the other, so you will mention again वो चीज़. So it depends where exactly. Now usually for a person who's working, we tell them कि transferable skills, put it according